Will property tax increases be the next shoe to drop that actually brings down housing prices? Over the last couple of months, we've seen interest rates rise. At the same time, we're starting to see supply build. And now we're hearing of states increasing property taxes on homeowners, and sellers and homeowners are starting to panic because they can't afford these property tax increases. So in today's video, we're going to spend a little bit of time and talk about this, how this might impact the housing market in some of these states out there. Now, if you're in a state like California, you're somewhat protected by Prop 13. Your property taxes can't increase by more than a certain percentage per year. So you don't really have the fear or the worry about someone buying a house in your neighborhood for significantly more and then your property taxes increasing. But some of the states out there that don't have the protections like we do here in the state of California, and homeowners in those states could see property taxes increase substantially, which could cause sellers or homeowners to want to sell their property, which is going to create more supply. And if you've been watching my videos over the last 2 years, I've talked a lot about supply and demand. The market that we've had over the last 2 years or so has been driven by a low supply of homes and a lot of buyer demand. And it was fueled by low interest rates. But what we've seen over the last couple of months, because of inflation, we've seen the Fed intervene, start to raise the Fed funds rate. They've come out and said that they're going to start to sell off their balance sheet, and interest rates have jumped substantially, which is putting affordability in question for a lot of potential homeowners out there. And so because of that, we've actually seen inventory start to rise in many states out there. Now, historically speaking, inventory levels are still very, very low, but we are starting to see the increase. And this increase is causing buyers to panic, wondering if they should buy now. Should they wait on the sidelines and wait for home prices to come down? You also have sellers wondering, did I miss the opportunity to sell my house at the top? And now they're wanting to put their home on the market. So all of this fear out there in a time where inventory starts to increase anyway, because we're headed into the spring market. We're in that spring market now, when typically it's the best time of year to sell. So we're already seeing inventory levels increase. We're seeing affordability starting to come into play, which is causing, inventory levels to increase because it's throwing some buyers out of the pool to be able to buy. And then you have the sellers panicking, saying, hey, I need to sell my house now. They're putting their homes on the market. And now you have the potential of sellers or homeowners that will become sellers that are looking to sell their property and, cash out because they can no longer afford the property that they once had. Now, before you run out and panic about selling a property or buying a property, make sure you understand how property taxes work in your state. Some states have, a homestead, which allows you to, have a cap on the increases of property taxes. Some states like California have Prop 13 that protects you against, a certain percentage increase year over year where taxes can't really go up. But there are states out there where, you buy a house for say $500,000, your neighbor, sells their house to somebody that pays $1 million for it. And now your property taxes are going to be increased because your neighbor paid more money for their house. That's real. And it's going to be happening in a lot of states out there. Texas is one of them. And for these states that don't have homesteads, you're going to be impacted potentially in a big way. And a lot of times it affects the investors more than it does actual primary homeowners in these markets, because homesteads in a lot of these states only protect people that live there as their primary home. So you might have properties out there that are owned by investors. They see property taxes increase, and those properties no longer cash flow, and therefore they want to put their homes on the market to sell. Now, this is a really hard topic for me to address because I am here in a state like California that is somewhat protected. So anybody looking at California going, hey, wait till, everybody's property taxes increase, the market's going to bust or the bubble's going to pop or people are going to leave the state, it's not going to happen because the state of California does have Prop 13 in place. But states like Texas or some of these other states where you've seen, home prices increase substantially, that might put a different spin on the market in those areas. Because if you have a property that no longer cash flows as an investor, maybe you want to sell that property and move that money to another state that does cash flow. Or maybe those sellers just continue to increase the rent, year over year to make up for that property tax going up. It's really difficult to say how this is going to impact the market. But what I do think is going to happen is it's going to create some more supply, because there are going to be people out there that can no longer afford to keep that property for one reason or another. Maybe they purchased that property some time ago, have a fixed income, and now their property taxes are going to increase substantially to a point where they can no longer keep that home. That's going to create supply. So as long as demand continues to be there in those markets, that increase in supply isn't going to have an effect. But I think as interest rates stay higher, that's going to play into that demand. And as supply builds, one from the spring selling season, one from rising interest rates, and another from people potentially putting their home on the market because they can no longer afford it for one reason or another, that might help balance supply in some of those markets, which may bring home prices down. Now, I don't see this being a problem where home prices are going to crash, but it's really hard to say how it plays out. Most lenders, when they qualify someone to get a loan, they're usually using the current tax basis for that area. So, the buyer of that property has an idea of what their property taxes are going to be, even with the future increases. But the people that purchased years ago in some of these markets that don't have the caps or the homesteads on those homes, those are the people that are going to be affected, right? The people that bought years ago, and since then prices have increased substantially, putting those potential homeowners in a tough position. Now, again, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm super bullish on real estate, but this could be something that helps balance the market, that adds to supply, gives buyers more opportunities out there. But I'd love to know what you guys think. You guys are out there, the ones buying homes. You're the ones that own homes in some of these states. What are you seeing happening in the market? Do you see property taxes increasing, becoming a bigger problem, causing people to sell? If you've seen your property taxes increase, what are your thoughts on it? I did a survey on my channel recently asking that question, and the majority of people out there said that they saw their property taxes increase substantially. Now, you have to look at that survey and realize that, a large majority of those people just wanted to see the survey. So once you back them out and then look at the big numbers there, a good portion of those people have seen a big increase in property taxes. So the question is, what does that actually do to the housing market? I'm counting on you guys to help me answer this so that I can provide good information for other viewers out there. And I wanted to bring it up because a lot of you have been talking about it. But if you're wondering my thoughts on the housing market, do me a favor, check out this video here. I dive into it in more detail. But for now, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate the support. Hope to see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.